This morning soak feels a little bit heavier than usual. Sun is shining bright in the back, but the news in Canada this week um, are horrible and terrible. Um, all of you have heard about the shooting in BC, and I still can't believe that something like this keeps happening in a country like Canada, a country that is safe and non-violent, and everybody here is so nice and awesome. I don't understand how things like that can happen. And this brings me to a bigger conversation that we're all thinking about, that we're all talking about privately. But this conversation needs to get louder and needs to start getting out there because I'm going to talk to you as an immigrant that came to Canada 25 years ago from Colombia, escaping war in my country, and I made a living here in this country. I don't know how to live in my country anymore, in Colombia. I don't even call it my home anymore because when somebody asks me when are you going back home, this is my home. This is where I live. Like this is where what I built for my life here. I don't know how like I haven't been in Colombia in 25 years, 26 now, going 26. But when I came to Canada, I came because this was a country offering a new way of life, new opportunities, an organized society, a society that is free from rampant corruption. I'm not saying there's not corruption here, because there is. Thank you, Ben. Nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining. Crown and Kent, my buddy Ben. So here's the thing. I came to Canada because escaping war in my country, my family, we were in a situation of unsafety, and one day I'll tell you a story. And we had to leave the country. And we came to Canada because this country was, like I said, non corrupt. There is corruption here, of course, but it's not as rampant as it is in all of the countries in South America, Central America. Uh, I sound like Bad Bunny now. In Asia, and like I've had the pleasure of or the luck to be able to travel all over the world, and it's everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's corruption, but there's a difference between like seeing corruption on the streets, like everywhere you go in the services that you go purchase, or if it's just like at the higher levels where nobody watches, and that's even like probably a worse kind of corruption that when it's so hidden that nobody sees. But when I came to Canada, it was all about a country that was safe, a country that had amazing community values, society values. In Canada, it's all about helping other people. It's all like when you come here, you got to start volunteering. The system is amazing. Why do you volunteer? Because when you come here, the referral system in Canada is very, very important to Canadian society. So you got to go do some volunteer work before somebody can actually say, yes, I'm gonna be your, I'm gonna vouch for you. I'm gonna be your reference. And then once you go do some volunteer work, then you go apply for jobs. And when the jobs say, do you have a reference? You say, yes, I do. I volunteer at this place, and this person is gonna vouch for you. But also, it's also important that you have to be good, and because this person is vouching for you, this person is putting their word on the line for you, so you have to be responsible and you know behave and act like a member of society, right? So what's happening in Canada now, it's not that country. It feels and everybody is it's frustrated everybody I talk to, my friends, my like not only my immigrant friends, but my Canadian friends, and even some of my immigrants friends are worried because we all came to this country 25, 30, 40 years ago, and now the Canada that we live in is not the same. It's a more dangerous Canada. It's a more violent Canada for sure, and even Canadians are starting to become, they're getting tired of this. I know Canadian friends that, like, let me tell you what a Canadian person is. A Canadian person is just like the nicest people on earth. This is what they tell in the news. Is not is not lies. It's Canadians are the nicest people on earth, and they're always like, they'll give you the right of way. They'll open the door for you. They'll say sorry a million times. This is not just on skits on Saturday Night Live. Like, this is real life when you live in Canada. But nowadays, people are not that. They're still kind. They're still loving people, but they're not as putting as much effort out there, and it's because they're tired of what their society is becoming, and I totally get it. I totally understand it. Um, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna like my experience as an immigrant is when I came here to Canada. I came to looking for a better life. Okay, sorry, I gotta acknowledge the people that are watching because I do this for you guys, and thank you very much to Chris Cherry Kool Aid, amazing photographer and content creator, and Kev's Barbecue Alley. Every time I listen to you, I learn something. I'm older than you, man. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate you listening because this, every time that I sit down in this tub and I say like, okay, it's time to do another episode, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, who cares? Like, who cares about what I have to say? But this is where I go, okay, because every time that I do an episode, I get at least one person. That's all I'm looking for. I get one person that messages me after and says, what you spoke about today really hit me. You know, I talked about starting your own business weeks ago, and there's one lady that messaged me and said, I really want to open this business in this town, and you really motivated me today to start working on it. And I mean, again, I'm no guru. I'm nobody. I'm just a regular person like you and me. Like, I'm just a guy that has a phone and a camera, like we all do today, and decided to share my life with all of you. Um, but so when I came to Canada, I am of Colombian background, Latino background, and I gotta tell you something very important, and I accept this. Even when I was in Colombia, I was corrupt because I'll tell you what corruption means. But people think that corruption just exists at the highest level of government, or people making $1 million contracts and all that. But corruption starts on the streets, and that's what I see Canada is getting into a little bit right now. Um, and it starts with the mentality of its population, right? It starts with how people act. In Colombia, they teach you from a very early age to be smart, to not let people fool you, to be, 3 steps ahead of people that are trying to take advantage of you, because everybody's trying to take advantage of you. So you're always aware when you're walking on the streets. You're always looking, head on a swivel. That person is looking like it's coming towards me. Don't wear any jewelry. Like that. That's the life I grew up in. Like, from birth to I was 19 when I moved to Canada. So I'm 44 now. So yeah. So, and for example, they say, okay, if you go to the supermarket or you buy something and you pay with cash, and you're supposed to pay $80, but they give you the change back and they give you $90. Don't say anything. Just walk away. You won. You won. You beat them. And when I came to Canada, I learned something different, completely different. That changed my life, and it's been the most beautiful upbringing, because I call it. I had a Colombian upbringing, and then I had a Canadian upbringing. And in Canada, your words matter, because in Colombia you say, "Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there at 8." You don't show up till 10. You don't even apologize. Like your friends are waiting for you, and sometimes you don't even show up. Sometimes you just like. And I've had this situation happen with people that have come from Colombia here, just recently landed in the country, and I'm waiting for them because I invited them for dinner with a whole bunch of people, and they're like, yeah, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I might text him, hey, we're gonna serve food now. Where are you? I'm on my way, and they never show up. And something. I'm like, you don't have to come. You just have to say, I'm sorry, I can't make it. That's it. It's totally fine. If you go out on an appointment and the appointment is at 8 and you're 5 minutes late, just say, hey, sorry, I'm 5 minutes late. Or I'm caught in the train in London. I'm 15 minutes late. But say it so people know what to expect. So this is what I grew up in Colombia all the time. And then when I came to Canada, it's all about telling the truth. And telling the truth is the most beautiful thing that you can do. Like when you get change at some you're buying something and you get more, it's beautiful to say, sorry, you gave me too much money. Here, this is all I have. I had a situation a couple last year where we went to with my kids, with Julian and Bella. We're like, let's go for Burger King. Sometimes we like to go and have a undecent burger. So we went to Burger King, and for some reason, I don't know why, but we went through. We put an order in. We went to the window, and they gave us the food, and I left. Usually, they charge you first, so they made a mistake, right? And I did not think. I was on autopilot talking to the kids, whatever. And then we left, and we came home, sat down, and we started eating. And then I'm looking for the receipt because we're very, very organized, so we keep our receipts everywhere from everything, anyways. And and I'm like, kids, where's the receipt? Like, and then I'm like, it dawned on me. I'm like, holy crap, did we not pay? And they were like, no, I don't think we paid. So as soon as we are done eating, okay, everybody in the car, let's go, all the three of us. And they're like, why? We don't want to do this, but it's my job as a parent to raise the next generation of amazing Canadians that are going to keep the Canadian cultures and traditions and values alive and pass them on to the future generations. So we went back to Burger King and we went inside, and the guy that was the manager, I know him because he's always there at night or something. Not that I go all the time. I go off sometimes, but I know his face, and he knew my face, and he's like, wait a minute, you're coming back after you got the free food and you're coming back to pay? What? And he was an immigrant for sure. I'm not sure where he was from. I'm gonna say India maybe, but he was super confused. And then he thanked me. He's like, man, I've never seen anybody do what you just did. So thank you very much. This was gonna be a problem when I did my report at the end of the night. And you know what? Like, I don't feel any pride, or I'm not telling you this because, oh, I'm the best. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I'm speaking to my immigrant friends, to my immigrant brothers and sisters that have come to this country and come here looking for a better life, because this country does give you a better life. And and I'm saying, like, this is how we should behave. It is Canada doesn't owe us absolutely anything. Canada doesn't owe us anything. Canada gave us a place to live and a country where, in this country, literally, you can go as far as you can. If you don't want to work hard and you don't want to, you know, if you don't want to live, have a great life and work for it, the country will take care of you, with which I don't agree. But it is one of the beauties that Canada offers. But if you want to work hard and if you want to put in your work and be honest and make great relationships with people and network and get yourself immersed in the society, this society will pay you back 100%. And so Canada doesn't owe us anything, but we owe everything to Canada. So when we come here to this country, it's not about bringing our traditions and culture here. and implementing our traditions and culture here. It's about respecting the traditions and culture of Canada, and not only respecting them, but also amplify them and keep the ball rolling. Keep teaching our younger generations, our future generations, what it means to be a Canadian. And yes, I am a Latino Canadian, a Colombian Canadian. I've been a citizen of this country for a very long time. I and when I came here, it was all about respecting Canadian values and culture without losing my identity. And you know me, I am as Latino as they come. I I do even I have a really hard time, and we'll talk about this in the next episode. Actually, I have a really hard time calling myself a Canadian because I'm not. I was born in another country, but I made this country my home. I'm not entitled to Canada, but I am in huge debt and eternal gratitude to Canada. Hmm. When you come to this country, think about that, and think about, we don't come here to learn to teach Canadians how to live, because I'm gonna say this, and if you feel disrespected, this is the truth. Most of our countries outside of Canada, in Latin America and Asia, they're corrupt, they're problematic. That's why we're here. You leave your country to come here for a better life. You can bring your culture, you can bring your food, you can bring everything you want, but don't impose it, because we're not here to impose. We're here to adapt to Canadian society, while still celebrating our multiculturalism, because that's what makes Canada great. Canada is an open country, and they welcome you with open arms, and they want to learn from you. Now, I want to say this too: Canadians. I'm not pointing my finger because I'm not being judgy. I'm just Canadians. I'm sorry about what I'm going to say, but this is all your fault. Let that sink in for a minute. I know you're probably upset right now at me, but I'm going to explain why. This is all your fault because you're probably the only country in the world that allows people to move to your country and make their culture and traditions and way of living a priority. The amount of rules that you guys change for us would never happen in any other country. In Colombia, there's no way you will not get it. And I'm sure in any other countries, like, you come and you want to impose like your festivals and your, like, we're as Latinos, we're loud. Like, the streets are loud. We play music loud. You can't do that here. And if you went to Colombia or any country in Latin America and try to say, okay, we're Canadians now, this is what we're going to do now here in Colombia, Chile, Mexico, whatever, they'll be like, mm-mm, no. Wait a minute. What do you mean? So, as Canadians, you're so nice that you have enabled a whole generation of immigrants to come here and say, oh, we come here and we can do whatever we want and continue the life that we have in our country. Perfect. Why not? So, and this is not about polarizing or dividing. This is not about hate, okay? I don't believe in hate. I don't believe in that. It's a hard wake up call. And from a guy in London, Ontario that owns a restaurant, like, I want to speak up. Speaking up, it's a problem right now in Canada. Nobody wants to speak up because everybody's fighting and everybody's polarized, and then everybody's blaming the liberals, and then everybody's blaming the conservatives. And this is not about politics. This is about community, about society, about rebuilding the Canada that we all knew from 30 years ago, because Canada is not lost yet. I believe Canada is not lost at all. Canada is the greatest country in the world, and I really mean this. Canada is not a racist country. It's a prosperous country. It's a country that gives you back. I already said a million times the same thing, but that's why we need to be grateful with Canada, and we need to learn how to adopt. You know what? One thing that I find that is super super sad is that when you ask a Canadian, what's Canada's national food, and people say poutine. As a chef, as a cook, I'm blown away by that. Like, Canadians, you need to start creating your own culture, and you need to start creating it hard and write it down and start, not for our generation. Our generation is done. This is who we that's it. But you need to start building your country for the future generations. And I'm a part of it too, because I am a citizen of Canada with kids, with 3 kids in Canada that I want to raise to be Canadians. Um, like, for example, okay, don't get me wrong, poutine. Yes, poutine is great. Some people would like it, but when 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 you talk about like what is the culture and the food of Mexico, tacos and mole and like oof, so many, like Mexican cuisine has been named like a UNESCO heritage, World Heritage, and like you can't touch it. It's going to be preserved forever. When you go to Colombia, Colombian food very very known. Argentina, they love to do asado. To Spain, they do paella, and you go to Germany and they have the schnitzel. But in Canada, we have poutine. What about the East Coast chowder? What about the Nova Scotia lobster? What about the Muscovy duck? What about the candied no, what is it? Candied cod from the West Coast? And what else? Like, there has to. I travel all over the country. I can't remember all the dishes right now, but I've tried so many dishes around Canada that are local to the region, and we still talk about poutine like it's this incredible dish, which it's not. It's very simple. I'm not debating that you will like poutine, and it's a comfort food, but it is not a national dish. It's not something that every Canadian should be proud of when there's so many other options. And every in Colombia, every region, we're also divided by regions, departments. Every region has their own local dish, and Canada should be the same. Every province in Canada should have their local dish that is recognized by the government. That the government put some money into this, get some local chefs, and talk about it, and put it down on paper, and put it down on right beside your provincial flag, and then the federal government put all these dishes together and make a cookbook of Canadian delicacies. I'm gonna call out, like, where are the chefs? Where's Michael Smith, Alex Chen. Uh, uh, well, I love what's the old guy? Capra. I love Capra, but he's too grumpy for this. No, but he's too Italian and too grumpy. Lane Crawford. Like, where are all these people? Come together, get the government to pay for it, and build a 100% all Canadian cookbook that respects and features all the best of each province, and then turns Canada into a cultural, starts building the culture of Canada. So next time, I've seen um, a lot of posts on Facebook that where Canadians are complaining about this, and then some immigrants, which this is wrong, guys. Don't go tell Canadians what's the culture of Canada. They say so. Canadians say, like, people, you guys gotta respect the culture of Canada, and immigrants come and say, what is the culture of Canada? I didn't know Canada had a culture, and that's so insulting to the land that is giving you an opportunity. It's so insulting to say that. What we should be saying is like, let me know, teach me about the culture of Canada. I want to learn, but you don't have to wait till the Canadians teach you. Like, you have to be proactive and go learn the culture of Canada. I married a Canadian. My wife is 100% Canadian, and the amount of culture that I've learned from them is absolutely amazing. It's Canadian culture is way more than that. It's about respect, and it's about Thanksgiving, and it's about Christmas, and being with family together, and enjoying turkey, and like there's so many things that make Canada what a great place it is. And sometimes we we are like looking for, oh, okay, what's Canada's culture, and we're looking for like pyramids or like all this indigenous stuff, which they have. And if you've seen the indigenous um, art of Canada and all that, it's absolutely beautiful. Go check out Vancouver. What's the name of that park in Vancouver that has all the totem poles, and Stanley Park, I think. Sorry, I didn't prepare for this. I didn't know I was going to go so deep into this topic. But yeah, so like sometimes we look for all those like symbolism that most of your cultures have, and then you fail to acknowledge that the most important thing about Canadian culture is the big heart of Canadians, the open arms of Canadians, and how amazing and generous they are. And that's number one thing. And you don't appreciate that? That's the most beautiful thing. Why do you leave your country? You know, why do you leave your country? Because over there, people are trying to kill you, people are trying to scam you, people are trying to rob you. They don't do that here. You can walk in Canada with your jewelry and watch and whatever you want, and nobody's going to steal it from you. Nowadays, it's a little bit different, but that's why I'm making this video. So let's make barbecue our national food. Man, barbecue could be a national food because Alberta raises beef, and there's pork farming all over Canada. So a pork dish should be like pork ribs with maple syrup. Delicious, Barbecue, it's a part of Canadian culture. There's a lot of barbecue in this country as well. Barbecue is not owned just by the U.S. It's just a different level of barbecue. It's the same thing. Like all over the world, you got this flatbreads, right? In Mexico, you call them tortillas. In India, you call them naan. In where else? In the Arab countries, you call it what is it? Pita, right? So it's the same. Like all over the world, we have the same idea and the same ingredients too. Like very similar ingredients that are used interchangeably all over the world. So I mean, barbecue, it is a national food, and it just needs to be established. It needs to be shared. It needs to become part of the national culture. Canada, this is not a country that like your culture is not opening your arms to the rest of the world and just picking whatever people bring here. Bring what's been already here for generations, for hundreds of years, and grab that and turn it into, make it flourish and make it big and talk about it. I'm gonna log off now, but I really, really appreciate giving me the opportunity to talk about this and share this video. If you believe about what I'm saying about, let's make Canada culture prominent. Let's make Canadian way of living prominent. Let's be proud of what Canada used to be. I see people fighting on the roads, road rage, because nobody's respecting the rules of Canada. Yesterday there was a bus over here in a roundabout, and the lights were on, but the bus was coming in this direction, but people just kept going in this. I saw 3 cars run the lights off the school bus, and that is highly illegal here. Like as soon as you see lights on, all traffic stops, no matter what, because the lives of children are at stake. This is not done so they can make you late for whatever the hell you're going to. Nothing is more important than the life of children. They are the future of our country, and if you don't stop for children, then you're going to do what happened in South London last year or the year before, where one kid was killed because the driver failed to stop. All these rules that Canada has is for a reason, and it's what makes the country the best country in the world to live. Because truly, Canada is the best country in the world. Thank you for watching, everybody. Share this with your friends. Share this, and don't be quiet. Speak up, but speak up out of love. Speak up out of compassion. Speak up. Speak up. Don't criticize people. Let's not judge each other. And I am responsible for that too. I'm taking responsibility. Sometimes you get frustrated and then you start judging, but that's not how we move forward as a society. We all have a part in this. Thank you very much, everybody. From London, Ontario, my name is Jerry, and I'm another immigrant loving Canada and fighting for Canada and wanting Canada to be back to its former glory. Thank you. Have a great day.